This is no story on Truth Hurts News. Okay, so let me bring up the topic and then let's discuss it. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say at home because this is an interesting one. I'm not saying the Democrats are completely off on this because there's obviously some real disgustingness when it comes to children being used in content creation. However, like a lot of things, it's almost impossible to legislate, and therefore good contents can be taken away. So this is on truthhurtsnews.com. Democrat Senator's bill bans some wholesome online content creation, decries sexual exploitation of minors despite her past. That is Erin May Quaid from Apple Valley, who is the Senate author. There's actually a companion bill in the House. SF 3496 is moving through the Democrat-controlled Minnesota legislature that would prohibit content creators from having children in their content, a totally harmless activity in most cases. Popular shows like The Outdoor Boys, which is what we watch, me and my sons, because, by the way, it's done by a guy who has 3 children and loves things like we do in the outdoors, would no longer be able to have content featuring children under 14 that makes up 30% or more of the month's content. So this is how it's defined in this bill. Compensation for internet. Oh, by the way, the bill's design initially was that if you're going to have children in your content, you have to put money aside into a special trust for them. And you have to keep these accounting records. It's actually quite burdensome when you look at this kind of stuff. So the bill says minors featured in content creation. Minor is considered engaged in the work of content creation when the following criteria are met at any time during the previous 12-month period. Number 1, at least 30% of the content creator's compensated content produced within a 30-day period included the likeness, name, or photograph of the minor. Content percentage is measured by the percentage of time the likeness, name, or photograph of the minors visually appears or a subject of an oral narrative in a segment as compared to the total length of the segment. And number 2, the number of views received on any online platform met the online platform's threshold for generating compensation, or the content creator received actual compensation for the content equal to the greater than 1 cent per view. Now, Dawson, I'm just going to show real quick the Outdoor Boys. You see that link up there? That links to their YouTube. You guys familiar with Outdoor Boys?
Mm-mm.
It's fun.
Yeah.
This guy, now he lives in Alaska.
Oh,
he was a lawyer.
So cool.
Yeah. Does a lot of fishing. Does some hunting. He hunts like ptarmigan or something like that. See that one with the crab? That's their recent video. You can just click on that real quick.
I have to turn off audio for.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Stuff.
You'll just see there's this kid. That's his middle child. There's this kid pulling crab out of the ice. Because up in Nome, Alaska, they're shooting ptarmigan. They're eating crab. See how much the kid is part of this film? Okay, you get the gist of it. This is great, right? This is great because it teaches parents like myself things that you could do with your children, good wholesome stuff like taking your children outdoors, making them a part of your hobbies. Okay, anyone take issue with that?
No.
Mm-mm.
Harmless, wholesome, good. Okay,
Nope.
Good for society, in my opinion. By the way, the guy is a devout Mormon. It took me probably a month after watching the films realizing, oh, they always go to church on Sunday and they always wear the white shirt. And I was like, and they know people all over the world. They go like Japan.
Yeah,
and then I realized,
Mormon.
oh yeah, they're Mormons. Because they went to, I think they went to, what's the college in Utah?
Brigham Young
Brigham Young.
University.
Yep. So anyhow, what they're doing here, so they ended up in a labor committee, and I think this was on Thursday. May Quaid is talking about the bill, and she offers an amendment, and this amendment then says a minor under the age of 14 is prohibited from engaging in the work of content creation as provided in paragraph A, what we just read. And if incidentally a child is used in the content creation, then they get 100% of the proceeds of the compensation that the creator got. So let's say, now the interesting thing about the Outdoor Boys, and this is just a small example of a ton of people that create content, right? We're obviously content creators. We just don't have children in our thing. But let's say I brought my children in and they were part of the show, and that would be outlawed by this bill, and all compensation for the show would have to go to the children. Guess you'd be out of a job there, Dawson. There you go.
Wow.
We wouldn't be able to advertise anymore. We couldn't build the show. But the idea behind this is there is disgusting stuff out there using children. We all understand that, right? The question is how do you legislate that, and who are the high and mighty talking about this stuff? So let's go to this video of Miss Erin May Quaid, who is probably the least bit of authority on the topic of child exploitation.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Keep talking.
Isn't she the one that was supporting the gender reaffirming surgery stuff?
Oh, of course, yeah,
Like
she
speaking
definitely
to
voted
that?
for that.
Mm-hmm. Feel
Oh
free
my God,
to
look
skip
at these
this
ads.
ad because we're
What? Can I have like a way around this?
No, that's how we get
We're
paid.
seeing occur more and more is the online exploitation of children, particularly the online grooming and sexual predation of our children. The New York Times recently did an investigation
Literally what
and
she's
uncovered
advocating.
that even though children under the age of 13 aren't able to open their own social media accounts, some parents have gotten around this issue by opening and running accounts featuring their children, predominantly their young daughters. These accounts can generate hundreds of thousands of followers, many of whom are men and or sexual predators and convicted pedophiles. Because bigger followings means better brand deals, which means more money, the content that is posted of these young children as young as 4 often is suggestive. Children eating bananas, for example, using the bathroom. And it also leads to parents doing things like offering private conversations with their children as young as 2, 3, 4 for pay, or selling their leotards to unknown people on the internet.
All
In
right, just
Minnesota,
pause it
we
real
have
quick.
had child labor.
I
But-
mean, that's freaking disgusting. You know, I mean, like that. The problem is she's identifying a real issue here, right? I think a lot of us could kind of look at some content and go, that's disgusting, right? So it's like,
Jake,
how
I'm
do
here.
you legislate getting rid of that, which is very subjective, and I'll show you how subjective it is in just a second, with also not hurting people, good wholesome channels like the Outdoor Boys. So is it subjective? I would say it is subjective. Let's continue on, because here's where Erin McQuaid, I would argue,
Yeah, and Andy
also is
jumped
for
on the
sexual
call.
exploitation of children.
Andy's
What's
on.
I
that?
heard Andy on the call too, so just so you know,
Okay, just
he's
hold
here.
on. Let's finish this video, and then we'll get Eddie's comments.
Sorry, I have to juggle a lot of stuff.
No worries.
labor laws for a long time. You can't work in the state of Minnesota under the age of 14, with a few exceptions, right? Delivering a newspaper or nannying, babysitting, youth sports, refereeing, those kinds of things. And so this comes back to the Labor Committee today because we want to ensure that children under the age of 14 are also not working as content creators for money online. And
You guys remember this? This was the drag performance at the Capitol in front of children, and there you go. There's a happy, cheering Erin May Quaid as this person's dancing sexually in front of many, many minors in attendance, as you can see them in the audience. I don't know what kind of crazy parents these are that put them. All right, I can't even watch this disgusting
And I'm
crap.
guessing she voted for, and didn't she advocate for all the sexual reaffirming stuff and talk to that?
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
And
definitely.
then probably voted for the pedophile to be a legal sexual orientation.
Right, and that's the interesting part there, because she's obviously
like,
being
but-
a total hypocrite. Erin May
Yeah.
Quaid is, but
I thought pedophiles
but
were
at
okay.
the same time, some of the points that she's raising within that testimony there are accurate. Some of what
Yeah.
she's saying is truthful. And
it's just very hypocritical
And the way that I'm
for her.
thinking about it is that if we could, I would maybe even support a law if she was saying that we want to make suggestive content and products illegal. I'm getting another car warranty phone call. So my car's extended warranty is up, I'm sure. But Erin May Quaid, she's making a decent point there on several things. If there are those, if there's these accounts for, especially for little girls, if there's all these creepy guys that are buying their used clothes and all kinds of creepy stuff like that, of course we don't want that kind of stuff going on. And I wouldn't even be opposed to certain laws to prevent that, because we have to prevent the sexual.
How do you write? That's the question, though. How do you write that law?
Right, exactly. It's very complicated, and you'd have to have a very specific definition of suggestive content and sexual exploitation, because if we were to apply the law as it maybe should be, Erin May Quaid and her type of activities with the drag queens and everything, that would not be suitable for children. That's obviously sexually exploitive. So there maybe could be certain laws to do this, but I don't like the regulation of this. I don't like the requiring the required reporting of the monetization and everything like that. It sounds like it's just going to cause problems, but for the most part, I don't like parents that use their kids for content anyway. So it's almost like I almost can say, there's some positive things to this bill too, because there's a lot of crazy parents out there that are putting a camera in front of their kids and trying to make them all famous, and parents need to just let their kids be raised up normally.
I think one of the